That jar of peanut butter in your kitchen right now is not the healthy food you think it is. Most Australians eat this stuff every single day. Breakfast, school lunches, post-workout snacks. It has trusted because it looks simple and it has been sold as natural for decades. But that trust is misplaced. Because many peanut butter brands sold in Australian supermarkets today are no longer made to nourish you. They're made to last longer on shelves, feel smoother on your tongue, and cost less to produce, even if that means adding ingredients that don't belong anywhere near peanut butter. And the problem isn't just what's added, it's how quietly it's done. No warnings, no obvious red flags. Just familiar labels counting on the fact that you won't look twice. This isn't about rare products or extreme cases. It's about everyday peanut butter, the kind sitting in your cupboard right now. And once you understand what's really inside some of these jars, you'll realize you've been eating something very different from what you were sold. Brand number 1, Kraft. Kraft is the peanut butter most Australian families grew up trusting, and that's exactly what makes it dangerous. This is the jar that lives in school lunches and breakfast routines. It looks simple, it feels familiar, and it's been marketed for decades as a reliable staple. But modern Kraft peanut butter isn't built around peanuts anymore. To achieve that ultra-smooth texture and long shelf life, Kraft relies on added fats, including palm oil, to stabilize the product and keep it looking perfect month after month. Real peanut butter separates. Kraft doesn't, and that should immediately raise questions. Palm oil isn't added for nutrition. It's added because it's cheap, shelf-stable, and excellent at replacing natural peanut oils. That swap changes the fat profile of the product and turns what should be a simple food into a processed spread engineered for consistency, not health. Here's what most people miss. Because Kraft is trusted, parents don't recheck the label. They assume nothing has changed. So this product becomes a daily habit. Toast, sandwiches, snacks, quietly normalizing processed fats in kids' diets. Kraft didn't keep peanut butter simple. It kept it profitable. Brand number 2, Bega. Bega is one of those brands Australians instinctively trust. Aussie-owned, family-friendly, familiar. That image makes people lower their guard, and that's exactly where the problem starts. Because while the branding leans hard on local pride, some Bega peanut butter variants rely on palm oil to achieve that smooth, spreadable texture people expect. Palm oil isn't there to improve nutrition. It's there to stabilize the product, extend shelf life, and cut costs by replacing natural peanut oils. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Real peanut butter separates. It looks messy. It needs stirring. Bega's smooth consistency doesn't come from better peanuts. It comes from added fats that keep everything locked in place. That's not tradition. That's processing. What makes this worse is how often it's used. Parents buy Bega believing they're supporting a local brand and making a healthier choice. That trust turns the product into a daily staple. Toast in the morning, sandwiches at lunch, snacks in between. Over time, palm oil becomes a normal part of kids' diets, hidden behind an Aussie-made label. Local ownership doesn't automatically mean better ingredients. And in this case, national pride is doing a lot of work to distract from what's actually inside the jar. Brand number 3, Sanitarium. Sanitarium is a brand people associate with health, wellness, and better choices. That reputation is powerful, and it's exactly why this one deserves scrutiny. When a brand is trusted as good for you, people stop questioning what's inside. In some Sanitarium peanut butter variants, that trust is misplaced. To achieve a smooth, shelf-stable texture, palm oil is used as a stabilizer. It's not there to improve nutrition or quality. It's there to keep the spread uniform, prevent separation, and extend shelf life. Real peanut butter doesn't need that help. Here's the issue with health halo branding. When a product is framed as wholesome, parents assume restraint and transparency. They don't expect added processed fats in something marketed as simple. So the jar gets used daily, breakfast, lunches, snacks, without a second look at the ingredient list. Palm oil fundamentally changes what peanut butter should be. It replaces natural peanut oils with a cheaper, processed fat that alters the nutritional profile and turns a basic food into a manufactured spread. That's not alignment with health principles. It's compromise. Sanitarium hasn't made peanut butter healthier. It's made it smoother, longer lasting, and easier to sell, while relying on its wellness image to avoid scrutiny. Brand number 4, Woolworths Home Brand. Woolworths Home Brand peanut butter exists for one reason: margin. This isn't a product built around quality or nutrition. It's built to hit a price point, and when price is the priority, shortcuts follow. To keep costs low and texture consistent, Woolworths Home Brand relies on palm oil as a stabilizer. Palm oil isn't there to improve taste or health. It's there because it's cheap, shelf-stable, and excellent at replacing natural peanut oils. The result is a smooth spread that looks reliable, but behaves nothing like real peanut butter. Here's what makes this especially problematic. Because it's inexpensive, it's bought often. Families treat it as a pantry staple, not an occasional product. Toast in the morning, sandwiches at lunch, snacks in between. That means repeated daily exposure to processed fats, quietly normalized under a trusted supermarket name. Real peanut butter separates. It needs stirring. Woolworths Home Brand doesn't, because palm oil is doing the work peanuts should be doing. That convenience comes at the cost of simplicity and nutritional integrity. Supermarkets know most shoppers won't check the label on a home brand. They trust the store. That trust is being used to push the cheapest formulation that still passes as food. Brand number 5, Coles Home Brand. Coles Home Brand peanut butter is the clearest example of how supermarkets quietly lower food standards while selling the idea of value. This product isn't designed to nourish anyone. It's designed to be cheap, consistent, and easy to mass produce, and palm oil makes that possible. Instead of relying on natural peanut oils, Coles Home Brand uses palm oil to stabilize the spread and lock in a smooth texture. Palm oil is cheaper than peanuts, easier to control, and far more shelf-stable. That's why it's there. Not for taste. Not for health, for margins. What makes this brand especially dangerous is how often it's consumed. Because it's affordable and always available, families treat it as a default option. It becomes part of daily routines: breakfast toast, school sandwiches, quick snacks. Over time, palm oil stops being an occasional ingredient and starts becoming a regular part of children's diets. There's no transparency advantage here. The packaging looks plain. The branding feels honest. But the formulation tells a different story. Real peanut butter separates naturally. Coles Home Brand doesn't, because palm oil is doing the work peanuts should be doing. This isn't about affordability. It's about how far ingredient quality is compromised when price becomes the only priority. Brand number 6, Aldi Romano. Aldi Romano peanut butter is sold as a smart budget choice. Simple jar, low price, no flashy promises. People assume that means fewer tricks and fewer problems. In reality, it usually means the opposite. To hit that low price point while keeping the texture smooth and shelf-stable, Aldi Romano relies on palm oil as a stabilizer. Palm oil isn't there to improve nutrition or quality. It's there because it's cheap, consistent, and far easier to control than natural peanut oils. That choice fundamentally changes what this product is. Real peanut butter separates. It needs stirring. It looks imperfect. Aldi Romano doesn't, because palm oil locks everything in place. That convenience feels reassuring, but it's actually the sign of heavy processing. What makes this brand especially concerning is frequency. Because it's affordable, families buy it regularly and use it generously: breakfast, lunches, snacks. Over time, palm oil becomes a normal, everyday fat in children's diets, not because parents chose it, but because they weren't clearly told it was there. Private label brands don't compete on transparency. They compete on cost. Ingredient quality is negotiable as long as the product sells and meets minimum standards. Brand number 7, Mavor's Health Halo Betrayal. Mavor S is the brand people buy when they think they've finally escaped junk food peanut butter. Natural, clean, premium, the kind of jar parents feel good about putting in lunchboxes. That reputation is powerful, and that's exactly why this one hits harder. Because when a brand sells itself as natural, expectations change. Consumers assume simplicity, just peanuts, maybe salt. No shortcuts, no stabilizers. So most people stop reading the ingredient list altogether. But some Mavers smooth variants rely on added oils, including palm oil, to achieve that creamy, always perfect texture. And that's the betrayal. Real natural peanut butter separates. It needs stirring. Smoothness without separation doesn't happen by accident. Palm oil isn't there for your benefit. It's there to control texture, extend shelf life, and make the product easier to mass produce. That choice turns a food marketed as natural into something processed, quietly undermining the very reason people bought it in the first place. What makes this worse is trust. Health-conscious families buy Mavers more often and use it more confidently. That turns what should be an occasional spread into a daily habit, built on an assumption that isn't always true. Mavers didn't earn trust by accident. But once a brand trades on that trust, it has a responsibility not to cut corners. Brand number 8 Picks Peanut Butter, Premium Illusion. Picks Peanut Butter is sold as the better option. Premium branding, higher price, clean aesthetic. The message is simple. If you pay more, you're getting something purer. And that assumption is exactly what this brand benefits from. Because price creates complacency. When consumers see a premium label, they stop questioning. They assume fewer shortcuts. They assume higher standards. But premium branding doesn't automatically guarantee a clean formulation. It just changes how closely people look. Some Picks variants rely on formulation tricks to meet consumer expectations around texture and consistency. Smoothness without separation isn't natural in peanut butter. When a product stays perfectly uniform over time, something is doing the work behind the scenes. And that something often isn't more peanuts. It has added fats or stabilizers designed to control the product. Here's the issue. People buy Picks believing they've escaped processed peanut butter. They use it more often. They recommend it. They put it in kids' lunches without hesitation. That confidence is powerful and dangerous when it's misplaced. Premium pricing doesn't mean ingredient purity. It means marketing has done its job. And when expectations aren't matched by transparency, consumers end up paying more for the same compromises they were trying to avoid. Picks isn't automatically bad because it's premium. It's problematic because the premium image discourages scrutiny. Brand number 9 Smooth and Kids Targeted Peanut Butter's most deceptive category. This is the most deceptive category on the entire list, not because it looks unhealthy, but because it's marketed as safe. Smooth peanut butters made specifically for kids are sold as gentle, convenient, and family-friendly. And that's exactly how palm oil slips in unnoticed. Smooth texture doesn't happen naturally. Real peanut butter separates. It's gritty. It needs stirring. When a jar stays perfectly smooth month after month, something is stabilizing it. In kids-targeted peanut butters, that stabilizer is often palm oil, chosen for its low cost, long shelf life, and ability to replace natural peanut oils. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. These products are eaten by children daily. Toast before school, sandwiches at lunch, snacks after school. That means palm oil isn't an occasional ingredient. It becomes a regular fat source in developing diets, without parents ever consciously choosing it. Marketing does the dirty work. Bright labels, friendly fonts, words like smooth, creamy, and perfect for kids. No big warning. No clear explanation. Just the assumption that if it's made for children, it must be better. This category isn't about one brand cutting corners. It's about an entire segment built around convenience over nutrition, using palm oil to make processed food feel harmless. By now, one thing should be obvious. Peanut butter didn't become unhealthy overnight. It was quietly reformulated while trust stayed the same. What should be one of the simplest foods in your kitchen has been turned into a processed spread, padded out with palm oil for texture, shelf life, and profit. This isn't about one bad brand. It's about a pattern. Legacy brands, supermarket brands, budget options, even so-called natural and premium jars, many rely on the same shortcut. Palm oil replaces natural peanut oils, not because it's better for you, but because it's cheaper and easier to control. And the real damage isn't dramatic. It's routine. It shows up in school lunches, daily breakfasts, and habits that form without anyone stopping to ask what's actually inside the jar. Labels didn't scream. Marketing stayed friendly. And parents were never clearly told a simple food had been changed. Real peanut butter doesn't need stabilizers. It separates. It looks imperfect. And that's exactly how you know it hasn't been engineered. Once you start reading ingredient lists instead of trusting branding, this category becomes impossible to unsee. Now I want to hear from you. Which brand on this list surprised you the most? Is there one you've been buying for years without realizing palm oil was even in it? Drop a comment, especially if you're a parent. Your experience might help someone else rethink what they're feeding their family. And if you know anyone who still thinks peanut butter is just peanuts, share this with them. If you want more breakdowns exposing what's really inside everyday supermarket foods, make sure you're subscribed. Because once you stop trusting labels and start checking ingredients, you take control back one jar at a time.